Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you this morning to the Germany-Ghana Investors Forum, a landmark event to foster dialogue, to exchange business ideas, to discuss investment opportunities and to build relationships with the objective of increasing awareness of investment opportunities in Ghana. To this end, we have an exciting agenda with 3 panels focusing on industry sectors, automotive, agribusiness, and financial technology. And we also have an impressive number of distinguished speakers. Allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Carsten Völster. I'm IFC's country manager for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, based in Frankfurt. It is a pleasure for IFC to host today's Germany-Ghana Investors Forum in Berlin and Accra. International Finance Corporation, as part of the World Bank Group, is the largest multilateral development finance institution investing and advising globally in supporting the private sector in emerging markets. Let me also note that this event would not have been possible without the strong support of the governments of Germany, Ghana, and Norway. This is the first G20 Compact with Africa Investors Forum, where a conference is held on 2 continents and connected via video technology that enables an interactive dialogue between panelists participating from multiple cities. It allows us to have discussions locally and jointly and to exchange views from a German and a Ghanaian perspective, to attract investors and to make more investments happen. It also saves us travel time and costs to establish an effective dialogue. As the Germany-Ghana Investors Forum is streamed on the web, I am herewith welcoming all those who are following these discussions from their office, the comfort of home, or otherwise. And I hope they will benefit from this event as much as those attending the conference locations here in Berlin and Accra. Finally, the event will be recorded and posted on the web, so that the dialogue will carry on even after today's event in Accra and Berlin. We expect this day to be a prototype for future similar events connecting other G20 countries with the currently increasing awareness of and attract private sector investment to their countries. It is my pleasure now to welcome Chancellor Angela Merkel with her welcome and opening statement addressing this forum here in Berlin and Accra, and also all those following this event on the Internet.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, vor kurzem war ich in Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal und Algerien zu Gast. Diese Reise hat mir einmal mehr bestätigt, Afrika ist innovativ, Afrika hat Zukunftsmärkte und große Entwicklungschancen. Ghana zum Beispiel beeindruckt mit einer regen Start-up-Szene und einer beachtlichen Wirtschaftsdynamik. Und Ghana weiß, wohin es will. Es will ein starkes Land werden, das keiner Entwicklungshilfe mehr bedarf. Deutschland will Ghana auf diesem Weg begleiten. Besonderer Ausdruck dessen ist das deutsch-ghanaische Investorenforum. Es freut mich, dass die Regierung Ghanas das Forum mit der Internationalen Finanzcorporation der Weltbank ausrichtet. Wie können wir Investitionen fördern und Arbeitsplätze schaffen? Wie können wir der jungen Bevölkerung in Ghana Perspektiven bieten? Wie können wir die wirtschaftliche Entwicklung verstetigen? Darüber werden die Teilnehmer des Investorenforums diskutieren. Daran zeigt sich, Ghana und Deutschland verbindet nicht nur eine enge Handelspartnerschaft. Wir verstehen uns auch als Reform- und Investitionspartner. Wir wollen gemeinsam zum Beispiel erneuerbare Energien weiter voranbringen oder im Bereich der Informationstechnologien enger zusammenarbeiten. Unsere Partnerschaft baut auf dem G20 Compact with Africa auf. Es geht uns um bessere Rahmenbedingungen für private Investitionen, um Wachstum und Beschäftigung in Afrika zu schaffen. Daher danke ich allen, die sich in Ghana hierfür stark machen. Mein besonderer Dank gilt den Gastgebern der Konferenz. Ich grüße Sie und alle, die am Forum teilnehmen. Auch im Namen der Bundesregierung wünsche ich Ihnen erfolgreiche und gewinnbringende Gespräche.
I thank Chancellor Merkel for her kind welcome and opening remarks, highlighting the objective to create better conditions for private sector investments to generate growth and employment in Africa. And now I would like to hand over to Accra.
I commend the organizers of the G20 Compact with Africa, Germany, Ghana Investors Forum for the brilliance of this initiative. Those of you who come from beyond our shores are welcome amongst the people who pride themselves on their sense of hospitality. Akwaba is our word of welcome. And to those watching in Berlin, Germany, I send you warm greetings from the people of Ghana. Since becoming president of Ghana some 21 months ago, I've been advocating for a relationship with the rest of the world based on trade and investment cooperation. For me, it is the most effective way to guarantee progress and prosperity for the mass of Ghanaians and enhance their standards of living. That is why I was particularly delighted with the decision taken by the government of the German Chancellor, Frau Angela Merkel, to align its traditional development support to that of my government's vision of Ghana beyond aid. Germany's presidency of the G20, which led to the creation of the G20 Compact with Africa, is ensuring more private sector investments to Ghana and other Africa Compact countries. Ghana is keen on attracting foreign direct investments to exploit our country's great endowment of natural resources on mutually satisfactory terms. We are creating a resilient and robust economy, and the macroeconomic indices at the halfway point of my term of office are pointing in the right direction, a direction that will be maintained so that we can provide the stability to stimulate investments. We've also taken steps to formalize the Ghanaian economy, and in the process we aim to establish the most business-friendly economy in Africa to enable the private sector to thrive. Our modest successes in making progress in these areas are being recognized by the global business community that is now eager to engage with Ghana. I assure the investor community that Ghana is a haven of peace, security, and stability, where the rule of law works. Investments are protected in fact and in law. I thank the organizers for this opportunity and wish you productive deliberations in Accra and Berlin throughout the course of this forum.
I would like to thank President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for assuring the investors community that investments are protected and in fact and in law. As the next speaker, I am pleased to announce Dr. Jim Yong Kim, President of the World Bank Group.
Good morning, Accra and Berlin. I'd like to thank President Akufo-Addo for co-hosting this Investors Forum and thank all of the participants from Ghana and Germany who made it possible. 18 months ago, under Germany's leadership, the G20 launched the Compact with Africa to increase private sector investment across the continent. These investments will help power job creation, strengthen economies, and allow more people to share in the growing prosperity. The World Bank Group, International Monetary Fund, and African Development Bank are helping drive this initiative by helping compact countries enact critical reforms that will attract private sector investment. As compact countries implement these reforms, the G20 is encouraging major firms to identify investment opportunities in those countries. This forum can help bring those investments to a whole new level. The Compact with Africa is a multi-year effort, but we're already starting to see results. Ghana has led the way with many reforms, working to reduce public debt, streamline construction permitting, and modernize the public-private investment framework. Senegal is improving the reliability of its power grid and making it easier to resolve commercial disputes. Egypt has strengthened its fiscal position and cut the average time to attain industrial licenses from 2 years to 30 days. On the investment side, Rwanda, in close partnership with IFC, our private sector arm, is working with a global construction firm to develop 10,000 affordable housing units. Norway's Norfund has opened an office in Accra with plans to invest in local companies in the clean energy, finance, and agribusiness sectors. And in Côte d'Ivoire, the private sector is seeking to invest in the gas, power, low-cost housing, and cashew production sectors. The World Bank Group is currently operating on the ground in all 11 compact countries, helping identify and implement reforms and linking interested investors with promising opportunities. IFC invested nearly $800 million in compact countries, with an additional mobilization of just over $700 million. IDA, our fund for the poorest countries, will provide nearly $45 billion in the next 3 years in sub-Saharan Africa, including for 8 compact countries. And our Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA, which specializes in political risk insurance and credit enhancement, expects to issue roughly $1.5 billion in guarantee coverage in sub-Saharan Africa this year alone. The Compact with Africa is a model for how governments, the private sector, international organizations, and other development partners can join forces to find win-win opportunities, ones that drive economic growth and reduce poverty while offering strong economic returns for investors. We will continue working with all of the compact countries to make win-win solutions a reality. I'd like to thank Chancellor Merkel for her leadership and commitment. Her vision has driven the Compact with Africa from the beginning. The Compact is helping show the world that Africa is a great development opportunity, and I'm excited about what we're doing and what we will continue to do together across the continent. Thank you for participating in this forum. I look forward to hearing about the results.
I thank President Jim Kim of the World Bank Group for pointing at the G20 Compact Initiative as a platform for closer collaboration between governments, international organizations, the private sector, and other development institutions to join forces to find win-win opportunities. I would like to turn once more to Accra for the next speaker.
I'm now very privileged to call on Ghana's Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, to give his keynote speech. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed, and good morning to you all. It's good to be here. So we are on? Yep. Good morning, dear participants. Those of you who have kindly joined us from Berlin, a warm virtual welcome to Ghana, Akwaba, as we say it here. It is a real honor to see such a great collection of investors and captains of industry, agribusiness, and fintech drawn together by your interests in Ghana. And let me thank the IFC and the World Bank Group, German ambassador, for putting this together. It is indeed exciting times, as President Kim said. Who would have thought only a few years ago that policymakers and investors sitting in Accra will be seen and talking to their counterparts sitting in Berlin and live about investment opportunities in Ghana. The wonders of modern technology, the vision of our leaders, and how far we have come in terms of our own policy orientation. The government of President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo believes firmly in a private sector-led economy, and we are determined to put in place the necessary policy and institutional environment to harness technology wherever possible in order to make Ghana a super attractive place for business and a leading destination for private investors, particularly from Germany. Indeed, we aim to make Ghana the regional hub for business. To start off, I'd like to express my gratitude to Her Excellency Dr. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, to His Excellency, our President, Nana Akufo-Addo, and to Dr. Jim Kim, President of the World Bank Group, for the inspiring messages that we just heard. It is a true testament to their vision and commitment to a new world order. I'm happy that these leaders set aside time in their crowded schedules to record these messages of goodwill to encourage Ghana-German investment promotion. Germany and the World Bank have been long-standing friends of Ghana, and that their leaders will support this event in this way is excellent testimony to their care and our friendship. Our president has in his message clearly set out the motivation and context that make an event such as today's very seminal for us in Ghana. As he said, Ghana Beyond Aid is a vision that drives us. It is a vision that sees Ghana developing very rapidly to become a prosperous country that does not depend on aid, a country with a globally competitive economy whose relations with other countries are based on trade, investment, and political cooperation as respectful partners going forward. Key to our rapid journey to a Ghana Beyond Aid are efficient use of resources and critical and adequate private investment from both domestic and foreign investors to power our rapid economic growth and to create productive jobs. We need this to sustain a double-digit growth for the next decade. That is why we are here today. For us, it is indeed heartening that independently, our longtime friend, Germany, and her government under Chancellor Merkel is thinking of German-African cooperation along the same lines as the Ghana Beyond Aid vision, with investment for growth, particularly for the private businesses at the center. As you all know, just over a month ago, Ghana was delighted to host the Chancellor here in Accra for a short but a very productive visit. During that visit, we focused our discussions on deepening the already strong German-Ghanaian cooperation and elevating the role played by German and Ghanaian private investors and businesses in their relationship. We agreed to explore opportunities for both official Germany and German businesses to play significant and catalytic roles in driving the Ghana Beyond Aid vision. Indeed, it was agreed that Germany will support us to improve our export competitiveness by helping strengthen our capacity to meet EU phytosanitary and other requirements. And the Chancellor also indicated that her government is ready to support technical and vocational training in agriculture, similar to what Germany is currently offering in renewable energy, and to clearly demonstrate the direction of the new relationship. An agreement between Ghana and Volkswagen to establish a Volkswagen assembly plant in Ghana was announced during the Chancellor's visit. We also agreed to strengthen our special export zones, and in addition, there was a commitment to strengthen the financial sector, especially in development banking, with the support of KfW. My colleague, Minister Muller, actually said that his vision was to see Ghana to become the Bavaria of West Africa. We are very fortunate that through the visionary leadership of Chancellor Merkel, we already have in the Compact for Africa an institutional vehicle to pursue this new and enhanced Ghana-German cooperation with private investment strongly at the center. Ghana is happy to be one of the 11 countries invited to join the CWA. Indeed, right from the beginning of our membership in the CWA, we have taken an active and leading role in bringing together the other Compact of Africa countries and Germany together in order to advance progress on the initiative. In September 2017, we convened a CWA Ministers of Finance meeting in Accra and followed it up a month later in Washington, D.C. with a side meeting for the ministers during the World Bank IMF annual meeting in October 2017. And in April 2018, Ghana, assisted by the IMF and the Africa Center for Economic Transformation ASSET, hosted a CWA conference countries peer learning event on domestic resource mobilization. Domestically, we are pushing ahead with reforms in our laws and institutions to implement our CWA commitments and to make Ghana a super attractive place for doing business. Important efforts in this regard include our Companies Code now being in Parliament, good progress in revising the GIPC law, the launching of the new public investment management system last month, systematic efforts to improve our doing business ranking, such that by 2020, we expect Ghana to be in the top rankings. Investment and improvements in infrastructure and digitization of land registration and interoperability of payment systems. In addition to the progress that we are making on these specific business environment reforms, we have made significant progress in improving the macroeconomic and financial policy environment so vital for the overall climate of doing business. Here are a few examples of the progress we have made in this regard. A significant increase in the real GDP growth from 3.7% in 2016 to 8.5% in 2017. Reduction of the fiscal deficit from 9.3% of GDP in 2016 to 5.9% in 2017, and on course for 4.5% at the end of this year. Reduction in inflation from 15.4% to currently 9.9%. Improvement in the external accounts with trade surplus of 2.6% of GDP compared to a deficit of 8.3% in 2018. Reduction in the public debt to below 70% to 69.8%. Strong actions by the Bank of Ghana to strengthen the financial sector. And recently, a ratings upgrade for the first time in a decade by Standard & Poor's from B- negative outlook to a B with a stable outlook. So we are doing a bit, though there's much to do in this long journey of a Ghana Beyond Aid to secure the peace, security, and stability that our president referred to. I am very happy about the sectors chosen as areas of focus for this event: agriculture, automotive, manufacturing, and fintech. We see each of them as key potential drivers for our economic growth and transformation, and for creating the productive job for our expanding and increasingly educated youth population. I have already mentioned the agreement with Volkswagen for an assembly plant in Ghana. We also are going to look in our agriculture area, and the minister later today will talk about it. Also in the One District, One Factory program, Minister Honka Lindsay here will see us through during the afternoon. It is the growing middle class and mostly young urban population promises long-term market growth, and its geographic location makes it a logical hub for auto manufacturing in West Africa, enabling new investors to take advantage of in-country and sub-regional investment opportunities. Again, you'll hear much later from the Minister of Trade. Indeed, we hope that Volkswagen's agreement is the beginning of a wave of German FDI, not only in the automotive sector, but in manufacturing in general. To this end, in addition to the improvements in the business and macroeconomic environment that I've already talked about, we are also stepping up efforts with the help of Germany to improve and expand our technical and vocational education and training institutions in order to ensure the availability of the skills appropriate to the requirement of investors in the manufacturing sector. I see great opportunities in the fintech sector in Ghana. Already Ghana's fintech industry is now one of the most developed in sub-Saharan Africa in reach and sophistication. The use of mobile money has developed very rapidly, with registered accounts shooting up from 2 million in June 2012 to 10 million in 2017. In fact, mobile money transactions have moved from about 78 billion Ghana cedis to over 155 billion Ghana cedis, enabling the transfer of funds across different networks and platforms. With an almost 70% internet penetration and growing, an open and dynamic financial sector, and a growing pool of young and technically savvy local actors, the potential is really high for the fintech industry. My colleague, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Finance, will say more on fintech later today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited about this event. I wish I could be here all day, but unfortunately, I can't, since today is a cabinet day. I hope your deliberation results in some concrete investment ideas and potential partnership worthy of further follow-up, especially as we go to Berlin later on this month. And I look forward to reading the summary and conclusions of your deliberations. My best wishes to you for the rest of the day. Lastly, let me again express my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this event, the World Bank IFC, the German Cooperation Ministry, the G20 Compact of Africa, KfW, and other German organizations, the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the GIPC, ASSET. My sincere thanks to you all. My expectation is that this is just the beginning of our collaboration to promote German-Ghanaian investment, and that we'll be working on other events and initiatives together in the future. We hope to see you in Germany at the end of the month. Thank you so much for your kind invitation. God bless you, and Ayiko.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister Ofori-Atta, for your very exciting introductory speech, pointing at Ghana's vision to become beyond aid and to become a globally competitive country based on trade, investment, political cooperation, and setting skills for those that are looking for jobs. Finally, I would like to welcome Minister Olaf Scholz from the Federal Ministry of Finance of Germany to address the forum.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the G20 Compact with Africa Ghana Investor Forum in Berlin and Accra. This forum is the first in a series of conferences that the International Finance Corporation will organize in order to put the Compact with Africa into practice. And it is an important event in the close and long-standing partnership between our two countries, Ghana and Germany. In a globalized world, the G20 must look beyond its membership. This is what the Compact with Africa does. It is a cooperation as equals between African countries, the G20 partners and international organizations. We all know a prospering Africa is essential to achieve the aim of worldwide sustainable growth and stability. With their young and growing population, African countries offer great economic potential. At the same time, these young and talented men and women strive for a secure future for themselves and their families in their countries. Experience from Europe, America and Asia shows the private sector is a key driver of economic development. If we want to make a difference, we need to focus on our policies, both national and multilateral, more on engaging the private sector. Compact countries have improved the attractiveness of their markets for private investors. I strongly encourage German and European companies to invest more in promising projects. I'm particularly pleased that Ghana is the host country of this first IFC Investor Forum in the Compact process. Ghana is not only a close partner of Germany and an interesting investment destination for German companies, as shown during Chancellor Merkel's recent visit with a high-level business delegation. Ghana was also one of the first countries to sign on the G20 Compact with Africa, and it remains very committed to its reform agenda aiming at Ghana beyond aid. Debt sustainability, a reliable legal system, functioning and stable financial markets, to name just a few elements, are important preconditions for attracting private investment. The Ghanaian government has already achieved a great deal in these and other fields, and it is working to achieve more. Here you can count on German support. We will continue our regular exchange with our African partners in order to maintain reform momentum and economic growth. And we will sharpen our instruments with a focus on compact countries, private investment and small and medium-sized companies. Today's Investor Forum will help to match promising business opportunities with investors and companies both from within the country and abroad. I thank the International Finance Corporation and the Ghanaian government for organizing this event, and I wish all participants a successful conference.
Thank you, Minister Scholz, for keeping the G20 Compact with Africa initiative as a high priority to sustain development in the compact countries and support private sector investments as a key driver for economic development. I kindly ask all of you to join me in a round of applause for our honorable speakers this morning. Without any further ado, I would like to now move on to the first panel session covering the automotive and manufacturing sectors. And for that, I'm turning to Accra.
Thank you very much. Und man sagt, guten Morgen, Berlin. Ich heiße Dede Amano Wilkes. Ich bin die Director of Communications für die African Center for Economic Transformation. Ich hoffe, dass alles geht gut in Berlin. Vielen Dank. And so now, as we move into the first of our 3 thematic sessions, it is my honor to introduce Ghana's Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Robert Ahomkan Lindsay, who will give the first of the joint introductory keynotes. Deputy Minister, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody here this morning, and guten Morgen, meine Damen und Herren, and for those in Berlin. Honorable Minister of Finance, His Excellency German's Ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Norwegian Ambassador to Ghana, the CEO of the GIPC, head of IFC Group here in Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, our colleagues in Berlin, it is a true honor today to be with you here today to start the discussion on the automotive industry and the manufacturing in general. Before I start my contribution, let me first thank the organizers of this great initiative. As the Honorable Minister says, technology is a wonderful thing and we should all embrace it. Being our colleagues in the IFC, the G20 Compact, the German government, the Norwegian government, the German Foreign Ministry, Foreign German Corporation Ministry, for putting together this discussion, which is a core, and I've also noticed our colleagues from the Embassy of Turkey. Welcome, Ambassador. Putting together this discussion, which is crucial as Ghana seeks to, under our new president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, carve its direction, its plans as it moves forward. At the core of that is the subject matter of this first interaction, the automotive industry, and particularly the manufacturing sector. If you look at post-independence Ghana and, in effect, our industry, it's been characterized by what, in effect, we inherited in 1957, which is a system of government, system of production, which is designed towards preparation of raw materials that led to industrial transformation outside Ghana and then importation of goods. It's quite simply put, that model is not working for Ghana today of 30-odd million people. It's not has the capacity or the capability to create enough jobs and allow us to achieve the objectives that we set ourselves as a country. As we celebrated 60 years post-independent, it's become very evident, as elaborated by our Excellency, our President, that business as usual just will not work. We need to change the very structure, the nature, and the very essence of how we see ourselves going forward. Hence, Ghana Beyond Aid and all the contributory factor to that vision. Over the last decade or so, our businesses have gone through a tough challenge, and as our Minister of Finance very clearly elaborated, we have taken steps in the last 20 or so months to ensure that we arrest that arrested very quickly and set the framework that will allow us to achieve some of the objectives that we're looking for. He's mentioned it, so I will not repeat those areas. Suffice us to say, we know that it is a necessary precondition for what we need and what we want to have that structure, that stability, that predictability in going forward. Minister of Finance and your team, I echo on that, and we within trade industry see that as a prerequisite for our work as we're going forward, particularly in the industrial transformation agenda as set out by our president. This current administration has a very clear focus, the focus that is based on delivery, based on implementation, and based on practical solutions, taking the best the world has to offer and providing that here in Ghana. We're not seeking to reinvent the wheel, we simply want to be part of the wheel. We want to ensure that we play our role in that process. If you look at our industrial sector today, it is not surprising that it's not where we want to be. We understand that it is through the private sector-led initiative that this will change. To that extent, as was so clearly illustrated by the recent visit of the Chancellor of Germany, if you looked at the content of that dialogue, it is about the industrial transformation, how we make Ghana build opportunity for wealth for Ghanaians so that they can take their rightful place in the world of countries and of people. In the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we've taken on our mandate, and within that we have 10 key pillars that we've sought to drive as part of our contribution to industrial transformation of Ghana. At the crux of that is manufacturing, and one of the key aspects of manufacturing is the automobile industry. So whether we are talking about sectors such as the iron and steel, an integrated aluminium industry, pharmaceutical industry, industrial salt, manufacture of machine parts, textiles and garments, and of course, vehicle assembly, we understand that it's through the value chain, it is through ensuring that our SMEs played the key role in that value chain and ensuring that we bring the best the world has to offer to Ghana that will allow us to do that. Interestingly, Ghana started assembling vehicles in 1953. It was actually Bedford, and I recently found a video of that. It was one of the first industries that our British friends, as we were preparing for independence, had brought that in. In the 70s and 80s, we were assembling brands such as Boafo and Neoplan, but all these plants are no more operational, even though the facilities, the physical facilities, are still evident as you look around the country. In recent years, one of our own, Apostle Safo, has gradually been making his own inroads into some of these areas with his Kantanka brand of vehicles. However, it is clear that nowhere near are we able to achieve that objective of the automobile assembly as a key part of our industrial strategy based on him alone, but building his capacity and working with international partners. Let's look at some of the numbers. In 2016, Ghana imported $1.65 billion worth of automobile vehicles. In 2017, it went slightly up to $1.67 billion. We exported close to 6 million, but most of those exports in 2016 was really transshipment. So neighboring countries shipping it through Ghana and then going forward. Clearly, what you can see is a one-way flow. But that one-way flow also offers opportunity. And that opportunity is why it is that we're engaging in this dialogue. But as we discuss this dialogue of Ghana of 30 million people, our opportunity is not just the 30 million. It is a 300-odd million within the economic community of West African state. As our minister says, we want to be the hub. We want to position ourselves as the hub. And that is why we're addressing our business regulation to make us a very attractive destination for a hub. And so as we talk to those in the automobile industry, and particularly in the value chain, please don't look just at the 30. Look at the 300-odd million. Look at the young population. Look at the level of imports currently being done. That shows that the purchasing capacity is there. The opportunity is clear for investment. So as we look at that opportunity. Look at the Continental Free Trade Agreement of Africa. Look at being closer to your customers and what it is that you're seeking to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, the discussion about manufacturing, and particularly the automobile industry, is not an exercise in academics. Manufacturing industrial transformation, dare we say it, as I look at the German model, is at the crux of your industrial success. Ghana does not seek to be any different. Ghana seeks to replicate that in our own time frame and in our own lifestyle, but based on the best the world has to offer. We learn, adapt, and implement it to the needs of the country. Before I conclude my remarks today, let me again commend the organizers. I look forward to a robust dialogue, and as we speak, let's put some of those perceptions aside. Those perceptions being the market is not there. If we're importing $1.6 billion of it, the market is there. Let's put aside the viewpoint that Ghana or Africa is not focused on its future. It is clear, has been clearly spelled out by our president and our minister, the future is not a question of choice. It's a question of direction that we want to go. So let's look at the opportunities there, how we bring practical solutions, particularly in our investors in Germany, how we help you, help us, the win-win scenario opportunity for the manufacturing and automobile sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I really look forward to our discussion. And again, thank you very much for offering us this opportunity.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Minister, for those very encouraging insights and remarks about the potential of Ghana's automotive industry and the market. I understand that we're now separating from Berlin to start 2 local sessions. We now say farewell to Honourable Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Thank you very much for joining us, Honourable Minister. Thank you.
So with any further ado, I would like to then start our local discussion, and I'm turning first to my right to Mr. Stefan Siegemund with the German Energy Agency. As the automotive and the energy industry sectors tend to move closer one to another, what consequences should one expect this to have for Africa, or more specifically for Ghana, particularly when you look at a potentially accelerated transition from traditional to electric vehicles?
Yes, I mean, from our point of view, there are more 3 consequences and challenges. The first is, of course, the production. The second are the cars which are in the market. And the third thing is the fuels which are provided for the transport sector. So first, the production, I guess we have to see in the future that the production is energy efficient and that it will become, it's a whole supply chain more energy efficient at all, and that should be embedded in Ghana as well as a part of an reduced energy increase. As well, we've seen the challenge that we need, of course, stable energy supply and energy supply of renewables more and more for this production. So I guess it can be a fruitful combination that as well, like if you build up an automotive industry in Ghana, as well the renewables and the grid can participate of it in the local energy supply as well. The second is, of course, the cars which are in the market. I guess maybe Ghana should try to also think in the middle and long term and maybe skip some defaults we made here, and also think about in the very first step how they could implement as well cars which reduced energy demand and alternative fuels. And in the very long perspective, we've seen that, of course, fossil fuels have to be replaced by renewable fuels. And that's, of course, a challenge, and that's the reason why we want to start it here in Germany and in Europe, and going on then to the whole continentals with a kind of, like a global alliance for power fuels, like that we produce in the long term, like electricity-based renewable fuels, and replace it step by step, also in the whole continent's the fossil fuels for transport supply.
Thank you, Mr. Siegemund. Mr. Bude, Dräxlmaier currently has 3 production facilities in Tunisia, Egypt, and South Africa. what would be the prerequisites for considering an investment in an additional production site, such as in Ghana? And who, in your view, should have to come first? The OEMs with assembly lines or various degrees of suppliers?
Well, every investment starts our company as in other companies with a business case. And the business case basically is the assessment between the risk and the yield you can achieve. So it was very encouraging this morning to hear that there's a lot of awareness of these risks. Henry Karali already showed some de-risking measures from the Ghanaian government, but the government of Ghana, they can support these business cases by reducing all the risks within their local ecosystem. And to be a little bit more specific, in our industry, it's that we need fair, transparent laws, rules, and regulations. And I would like to emphasize fair, because we are a family-owned company with a very high commitment to ethical standards. And when we are investing in a country, we are there for a long term, so we are looking for a partner. So what we just need are fair conditions. Transparent is also important for an investor, because no investor really likes surprises. And that's why you need rules, regulations that are understandable, that are clear, and they are enforceable. And then measures like governmental investment agencies, they are very helpful to understand this. The next thing what we are also looking for, and this was mentioned this morning as well, is a good infrastructure. I mean, nobody expects a perfect infrastructure with perfect highways or something, but at least what we need is sufficient roads, good harbors, because if Drexelmeier would investment in Ghana, it would be first take for export. So we would need there a very strong harbor infrastructure. And then, of course, a stable supply of commodities, energy, water, and so on. Also coming with the fact that I guess the first automotive suppliers that would go into the lack of local OEMs, they would be very strong in the export. It would be very important to have a competitive and customs system, transparent and very competitive tariffs, and probably free trade zones that make also our life easier, because as in every business case, customs are non-value added costs and they are weakening every business case. And then last, this is probably the main reason why an exporting company would come to Ghana, is that we find a competitive labor market with fair conditions. And here fair means not exploiting the local population, it means fair for the employer, for the employee, but also having industrial standards met in regards to flexibility, shift work, and so on. And then with all these pre-named requisitions, we would expect to have stable and flawless processes within all administrative workflows. Because again, no investor really likes to struggle with processes or with administrational things. And then as a last thing, what was also mentioned this morning, incentives. They are nice to have, but if you don't find the pre-mentioned conditions, you as an investor, you don't think about benefits, because the business case doesn't make sense at all. So this is basically what we would expect to, in a country where we invest, that it is a competitive, fair environment with a fair and stable legislation. And then coming to your last question, the supplier first or the OEM, I would think it's both. The OEM has a very complex product and he takes a bigger risk because he has to do even higher investment. So I think the first frontiers can always be the suppliers, and then they pave the road with their first low-tech industries for the OEMs, and then you can scale it up to a fully blown automotive production industry.
Thank you, Mr. Bude. Let me turn to the other part of my panel, which is based in Johannesburg. And I would first like to talk to Mr. Yves Nono, who's with Robert Bosch. And Bosch is already active in 35 countries in Africa and has also a presence already in Ghana. So may I ask him to briefly elaborate on what attracted Bosch in Ghana to become operational and what growth perspectives are anticipated?
Thank you very much, Yves Nono speaking. I hope that you are able to hear me. As you mentioned, Bosch has been in Ghana for, it's been already in Ghana, it's established. In 2015, we started in Ghana with the extension of our Middle East Africa activity. And about 1 year later, we turn out around to a full legal entity. We have about today 40 people on the ground and working for 4 different divisions for Bosch, mainly aftermarket. I will say automotive aftermarket, Bosch Siemens Appliance, which is the 100% Bosch owned company out of the joint venture. And we're also there with our conventional power tools, and then a Rexroth, which is more or less working in the mining industry. But to get back to what has attracted Bosch in Ghana, I think that the government in Ghana has demonstrated its ability to implement and enforce, I will say, the measure to secure a consistent growth. If we look back in between the time frame from 2011 to 2016, we talk about, I will say, FDI in the amount of above $3 billion consistently. And it's going back to what has been said previously. There is no investment or willingness to invest if the ecosystem is not given or the boundaries are not given. So those were, I will say, the main driver, and also the potential we see and the strategic location of the country would help Bosch to move to Ghana.
Thank you, Mr. Nono. May I just add one further question, which is, what are the prospects for growth from a regulatory perspective, as well as to finding educated workforce to provide reliable maintenance and repair services at competitive costs?
So in Ghana, we do have, I will say, a dual approach. On the one side, we look at the manufacturing side. This is where the OEM come to play. But on the other side, because of our portfolio and legacy, we are also able to look at the aftermarket side. And then looking at the aftermarket side, then we are touching such topic as you just mentioned, related to how do we bring our expertise, our consulting on the ground. For instance, we are engaged with the Ghana Garage Association. We are engaged in a strategic partnership with Scania and ZF, where we do provide training, technical training for driver, but also for mechanics. Here, for instance, we are talking about truck. Scania more or less is providing the facility where we also provide some content. So those are such initiatives we have been taking in the last year, really to upscale or to bring some know-how and expertise on our consulting really on the in the countries. Yes.
Thank you so much, Nono. And may I turn to Thomas Schäfer, Chairman and Managing Director of Volkswagen Group South Africa. Thomas, if I may ask you to just elaborate, after having been for several decades already in South Africa, and just last June, Volkswagen having opened an assembly plant in Rwanda. So why is Volkswagen planning now to come to Ghana? Literally, there's no car market, limited industrialization, no suppliers, the same conditions as almost in all sub-Saharan African countries outside of South Africa. Still, Volkswagen is moving strongly in many African countries. Is Volkswagen again a front runner as it was in China 35 years ago?
Good morning. In South Africa, we obviously have a long-term presence, 68 years, and everything is rosy with more than 25% market share. And when you look outside South Africa in sub-Saharan Africa, then the picture is very dire, and that needs to change because there's no market in the world where we don't have a significant presence as our group. So in China 30 years ago, it started by just out of sheer bravery, we're going to go in and we try it out. It's like a chicken and egg situation. And at the time, a lot of people said, it's nonsense what you do, it will never work. God will help us if we wouldn't have had China in the meanwhile. And most of our business is now done in China with 4 million cars a year alone. So when we looked at sub-Saharan Africa, you always find the negative points. There's a lot of outdated beliefs, when, especially from a European perspective, when you look at Africa. There is crime and there is corruption and there's no infrastructure, all the good things that normally lead to the end of a business case and the end of a further investigation. And we've been looking at it as a company and also before in other companies for many years. But there's also hope, and there's a lot of good things happening, from urbanization, young population, digitalization. There's a lot of things happening. And it comes down, at the end of the day, again, to this chicken and egg question. Do we want to analyze it to death, or are we going to get started and make a point? Yes, there is no demand at the moment in those markets for new cars. But that's not because people don't like new cars, because there is no other offer in the market. So what we were looking out, and that's why we started with Rwanda at the time, for countries that want to make a difference, for countries that see the future in industrialization, they want to push policy and they want to get going. So that's why we started with Rwanda. That's why we're now working with Ghana, because these are countries that are very clear on what they want and how to convert the used cars into new cars and into jobs. Now, a country like Ghana with 30 million people is at least good for 300,000 new cars per year. Now, that would equate at least into 4 full-size factories that could create a lot of jobs. But what it needs for this is a policy, a clear policy on how to deal with used cars, promotion of localization and all of that, and a long-term plan. It doesn't happen overnight. As my previous colleague speakers here already said, you need a clear plan, a roadmap, and what we feel as Volkswagen is that with Ghana, we've got the right partner. But the government is very committed to get onto this road and see it through.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for this very clear picture that you are drawing about perspectives in sub-Saharan Africa as a whole. And as you say, someone has to take the first, or to make the first step, which is always a big step. And I can only encourage everyone to seeing this going to proceed as Volkswagen is planning it. May I turn to Your Excellency, Ambassador of Ghana to South Africa. After having heard the representatives of the automotive sector, what in your view is the government doing to attract investors, to create an accommodating legal and policy framework, or anything else, so investors consider investing?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. First and foremost, let me show appreciation to Mr. Nono and my dear brother Thomas Sefa for their kind compliment about Ghana. Indeed, we cannot do all overnight, but gradually we'll get there. And if I should quote, if I'll be allowed to quote President Trump, Ghana, within the next few years, I'm sure will be an automobile powerhouse in the ECOWAS region. By the deal struck between VW and other companies that are coming up, I'm sure we'll get there. Ghana abounds in talents. We have local mechanics who can even build articulator trucks with their chassis, with the chassis, implementation of chassis. You have artisans, very good welders, very good local designers who build buckets for trucks and all kinds of things that you can imagine of. So I see Ghana government sees that automobile industry is key in industrializing our country and creating jobs for our youth, and then an opportunity for training of more artisans to match the market of demand for these industries. So, and then the government has shown total commitment. The present government and even previous government have shown total commitment to create the friendly, business-driven environment. And the present government, we have heard him several times, he's been able to waive even some of the taxes that he described as nuisance in the industry, and then improve upon even taking delivery of goods at our ports within shortest possible time. Now you can bring in anything to Ghana, and within the maximum of 24 hours, you can take delivery of the goods. The fight against corruption is prevalent. It's very clear that the government is committed to create a level field so that at least every businessman or every investor will feel safe. And Ghana, I'm happy to know that we are being rated and touted as number one for ease of doing business in the sub-region. So I'm sure we are getting there. Gradually we are getting there. And I am happy even to have heard the Minister of Finance saying that the laws, business laws are being reviewed and then they've been presented to Parliament. And I know, I'm praying that Parliament will expedite actions on these things for the business community to see that indeed we are serious in partnering the private sector as indeed the engine of growth, so that, as I said earlier on, very soon Ghana will be seen as the automobile powerhouse in the sub-region. And I know my brother, the VW group, as well as other groups that we contacted, will live to the promises, and then let us set out the time frame to start the time frame to start work, because we don't need to waste time on this at all. The environment is very friendly. So you know it. You've been there, and no, you cannot complain about Ghana. Luckily for us, electricity supply is now stable. Government has reduced about 30% of tariffs on electricity consumed by industry. And with regard to the infrastructure development, government is committed and has started partnering the private sector in developing or expanding our road networks. Railway sector, when you went to Ghana, you saw it. There is progress of work. There is always work in progress on those infrastructural needs. And I think gradually we'll get there.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, for Your Excellency. I think there's still time for taking one question, and I would like to open it up to the floor. If there is a question, kindly introduce yourself. Okay, that doesn't seem to be. Oh, there's one question here, please.
Charles Yanka, African Cultural Institute. I would like to touch about the transparency, as you mentioned, because for industrialization, it is very, very important to see that transparency is in place in order to win the trust of the investors, the finance. I don't know whether Transparency International is going to be involved at the beginning of this industrialization of Ghana. I would like to address this to the Minister of Trade and Industry, to the government of Ghana. How is this going to be addressed? Because this civilian society should be aware that transparency is a key to the sustainability of developing industries. And this is very, very important. Otherwise, there's going to be a crash during the sojourn of industrialization.
Thank you for that comment. I believe the response to that would be probably better coming from the international panel that is going to be subsequent to this one, as I don't see other than, well, His Excellency who could potentially respond to it, but I guess we should just park it and leave, and if you don't mind you reiterating it in the next round. At least I don't see anyone here amongst us who is particularly qualified for responding to addressing it. But I fully agree that, as it has been mentioned earlier, the transparency as part also of the communication process is ultimately the foundation for building trust, of building relationships, of building partnerships. And that's only how then economic development is going to happen. Investments are going to be established, employment is going to be generated, and as Mr. Schäfer indicated, it is only that way that then when someone is going to make the first step and makes the first investment happen, that then others will take as an opportunity for seeing that trust already being at least implemented at one or the other, that then implies that other companies are going to follow the first movers. I would like to to wrap it up at this point, as we are going to move now in the second phase of this dialogue, meaning that there will be a shift in participants on the panel. So we are maintaining parts of the South Africa team, Mr. Schäfer and Mr. Nono, as part of the second discussion panel. I very much thank my panelists here, both of you, for coming and for sharing your views on where the automotive sector might head to in Ghana. And with that, I would like to then see on whether we can connect with the Accra part, and I would like to hand it over to Hassan to moderate that second panel. Thank you.